What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to dive into the latest Minnesota Vikings news and notes from OTAs. They had a couple of practices over the recent days, and I just want to talk about everything, and specifically our quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, and I'm overreacting to clips on Twitter, and I don't care. It's that time of the offseason, but we'll break it down here shortly. But if you guys could help us out here and help us grow this channel by hitting that subscribe button, you guys hitting that subscribe button really does go a long way here. It tells YouTube we're doing something right, and it'll push out this video to more and more Vikings fans. So if you guys could just help me out, Dylan and I, producer of the show, we put a lot of hard work here into the channel, and just you guys doing a free, easy way to help us grow this channel by hitting that subscribe button does go a long way. So if you guys could hit that sub button today, and let's dive into it. So OTA's takeaways, number one, J.J. McCarthy is dominating. Now, he hasn't dominated every practice. There was one practice, they were outdoors, and apparently there's like 20-mile-an-hour winds, and it was just an awful day for the offense, which, kind of makes sense. But I will say on that note, hopefully if the Vikings are ever in a spot like that in the regular season where, let's just say it was last year with how pass-happy they were, if they had to play an outdoor game, I would be very concerned about the Vikings winning that game just because they don't really have a good run game. But hopefully if you get put in that environment with the run game and the defense, it won't be, too big of a cause for concern. But I will say, guys, I got a big-time issue. I'm severely overreacting to J.J. McCarthy practice highlights. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, but if you are, you probably saw the viral clips of him just lacing the football yesterday. And it was so funny. Everybody is now overreacting to these clips, and they're like, oh, I didn't know J.J. had that type of zip on the ball. Like, God, he can really throw that thing. And it's like, we all knew this. Like, at the scouting combine, he threw a football 62 miles an hour, which is more than Joe Milton. And people act like this guy's got the biggest arm in NFL history. But he was just peppering in those footballs. He looked great. Also right here, we'll talk about this later. You see the offensive line, Blake Brandel at right guard, Kelly at center, Donovan Jackson at left guard there. So we'll talk about the offensive line here in a little bit. But, man, McCarthy looked good. And, he had a couple of these tight window throws, which I wish we could show the videos here, but just zipping the football in there. And, I will say just his technique at the quarterback position is pristine. Like, clearly this is something he has repped out since he's been 10 years old. He's always got perfect feet, perfect hips in the pocket. Everything is connected, and he really does get that hip kind of movement going. And JJ also, I don't know, definitely had this at Michigan as well, but he's definitely becoming more of a U thrower where you make the U with the ball, where you're kind of extending it out here where like the old school guys like the Peyton Mannings and Tom Brady's, they're making a C. But J.J. McCarthy had a little sidearm U action going at OTAs. And I will say this is just going off a couple of clips I've seen. It seems like Jordan Addison is J.J. McCarthy's favorite target during practice. Like every single viral clip we have seen of McCarthy throwing the football, all of them have gone to Jordan Addison. I love that. Like Jordan Addison, wide receiver 2 for this group, will have a massive year hopefully for the Vikings. So I like that him and JJ are, getting that connection going. But quickly, I'll show you guys this. Jason McIntyre, never been the biggest fan of him, but I guess now I'm going to be a fan of him. On Cowherd's show, he was filling in for Colin, and he was giving a take on the Vikings, and he says, I'm all in on J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. The Vikings will play in the NFC Championship this year. At least we have one person in NFL media showing this team some love, because anytime anybody talks about the Vikings, also specifically Cowherd, they always just take it as a chance to not rip the Vikings coaching staff or the roster, because there's really no take or argument you can make for them not being elite at both those, but it's always a dig at J.J. McCarthy. They're always throwing backhanded compliments. We saw that Tucker guy put out that BS report that the Vikings aren't sold on McCarthy, which was just ludicrous. So I want you guys to do something fun here. We're spreading positivity here on the show. Give J.J. McCarthy a compliment in the comment section. It could be, hey, J.J., I love your flow. I love the way you throw the football. I love the way you talk at the podium. But give our QB1 a compliment down below in the comment section. I cannot wait to hop in the comments later on tonight and see what you guys have to say. But please do so. Give QB1 a compliment down below in the comments section. And if you guys also want to get a Minnesota Vikings hoodie today, head over to chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. We got some hoodies that are up to 50 20% off right now. So take advantage of this deal. It's their summertime sales going on over there. So chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. If you guys want to get one today, they are up to 50% off right now. So take advantage of this. Of this link for you guys in the comments section and description of today's show. But click that link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. All right, let's talk about takeaway number 2 here. And we're going to focus in here on Justin Jefferson. And I just put Justin Jefferson as the franchise. And I think it is extremely rare what the Vikings have in number 18. Because there's no doubt he's a top 10 player in the league. You know, even with quarterbacks included. Like, Justin Jefferson's just special. But I also think it's rare for a wide receiver to be the leader they are in an organization. Like, I even think Jamar Chase, he's going to be a top 10 receiver of all time. But, you know, the leader in that organization is Joe Burrow, where the leader of the Vikings organization is Justin Jefferson. And it was cool. JJ was talking about, or Jettas, excuse me, was talking about the vibes so far at practice, saying this. I feel like just based off of last year, us having 14 wins, the confidence is there. So it's all about just coming together, bonding as a team, which we did last year. And we felt like that team last year was a very special team. So we're just carrying on that same mindset, making sure everybody is together as one and just coming out here and putting in that work. And again, it's just a mindset that Jefferson has. It's just very rare to see a wide receiver like take on a leadership role like Jefferson has. Like, even some of the best wide receivers of all time, like Megatron for the Lions. I don't mean this is a slight at him. I don't think a receiver should be required to be a leader. I just think that's kind of the cherry on top of the whole Justin Jefferson equation. But we have rarely seen a guy like Jefferson in the league where he is he's a superstar. And he's taking on a leadership role, and normally that falls on the quarterback, and maybe J.J. McCarthy will take on some of that once he gets, more accustomed to the system and just, mainly the city of Minneapolis. But it's pretty cool what Jefferson's saying. And he also talked about just connecting with the quarterbacks. People were asking him, like, hey, why are you at OTAs? Like, you don't need to be here. And he says, I feel like it's more for them than for me, talking about the quarterbacks. It really doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. Yeah, no doubt. You put up, over 1,300 yards damn near every single season with a carousel at the quarterback position. But as soon as the ball gets close to my face, I'm going to try to catch it. It doesn't matter how fast the ball is going, the spin of it, or if it's coming from a lefty or a righty. I mean, my job is to catch the ball. So I feel like it's more of the quarterback to see the tempo of the routes, seeing how I run the routes, seeing the different moves that I add to my routes. And I feel like working with that is more of a quarterback thing than a receiver thing. And I totally agree with what Jefferson's saying. And I also love that he understands that, where it's like, if he was a selfish guy, he would just be saying, you know what, I don't need to be at OTAs. I'm still going to be very productive no matter the situation. But I love that he understands it from a quarterback lens, where it's like, I know J.J. McCarthy is going to want to get that connection with me, or even a guy like Sam Howell. Just building those slight connections with Jefferson is huge. And, I was having a little daydream at work, and I was just thinking about the Monday night game. Could you guys imagine this? Everybody close your eyes with me for a second. First drive of the season. Let's just say the Vikings start with the football. It's Monday night. We all watched all of the week 1 games, all of Sunday, Friday, and Thursday, and we're all so excited. Could you imagine if it's a J.J. McCarthy to Justin Jefferson touchdown on the first drive of the season? I mean, we would be losing our minds as Vikings fans. So hopefully it ends up happening. I just can't wait, man. Cannot wait for Monday night, man. But let's also talk about this. Jefferson was just describing how he's taking improvements as a leader. And he says, everybody that knows me knows that growing up, I was more of a shy guy, more leading by example than by my voice. So there's whenever I have some type of encouraging words or just have a chance to bring up a team or to break us down, that all makes a difference. And even just being here makes a difference. So it just feels good, so it just feels great to be around the team earlier than normal. And I'm just carrying on that leadership role. And, I think as Vikings fans, and just fans in general, when you have an all-time great talent, you kind of sometimes take it for granted. But I just want to say thank you to Justin Jefferson. Like, seriously, thank you so much. And I chose this picture of former Vikings wide receiver Stephon Diggs for a reason. He's on a new team. He's out there partying on a boat. I'm not going to tell anybody how they should live their lives. But personally, for me, I like my wide receivers all the way bought in. Bought in the winning football games. You don't have any off the field distractions. I'm sure Diggs' teammates probably thought this was, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that, but just thank you, Justin Jefferson. I appreciate you being wide receiver 1 for the Vikes, and let's show him some love on today's show. Type those 18s down below in the comments section. Really, could you ask more? Like, seriously, even just one little thing. Could you ask Justin Jefferson to do anything differently? I don't think you can. He's a great leader. Obviously, on the field, he is a perfect wide receiver. Like, never enough love. Shout out to JJ, man. But also some more news and notes from OTAs. Justin School, Vikings signed him as their swing tackle during free agency. He was getting first-team reps. Obviously, with Christian Darrisaw still recovering from that torn ACL, MCL. This was to be expected, but this was the Vikings offensive line at OTAs so far, working left to right here. Justin School was offensive the left tackle so far. Then you also had Donovan Jackson at left guard, Ryan Kelly. He's there at the center position. Love that, getting those reps with JJ. But you also had Blake Brandell filling in there at the right guard spot. Then you also had Brian O'Neill holding down the right tackle spot. And it's crazy. The Vikings here, they don't have 2 of their starters. And I still feel like this is a decent offensive line, which is a credit to Kwesi and just the roster they have built. And I think they got sneaky depth at that position. Like, the fact that you're able to just throw in a Justin School, if Darrisaw for some reason has to miss week 1, maybe he has a setback, probably not going to happen. But, if he has to miss a game, or if Brian O'Neill has to miss a game, or even if like Donovan Jackson, Will Fries, if they have to go out, they just float in Blake Brandell, Justin School. It's just good to know the Vikings got a solid 7-man unit on this offensive line. Then also this from OTAs, Josh Metellus, he's looking to get paid. Don't blame him. He was missing a couple of practices here and there, and it's most likely for a contract extension. And I don't think this is a big deal. I understand this from Metellus' perspective. Like, he was a big piece of a defense last year that was one of the best in the league, so I don't really think that's too big of an issue. I don't know if the Vikings will get this deal done. I think they would. I think they had to make a decision where it's like, all right, we're either going to pay Cam Bynum this offseason or just let him walk, and then we'll sign Metellus to an extension. I don't think they would let both those guys walk out the door, but who knows? Maybe Kwesi has another plan up his sleeve. And lastly, everyone's bought in. This really feels like the Vikings, and it starts at the coaching staff and, some players on this roster, they truly believe this is a Super Bowl year. They're not taking it for granted. They are all the way bought in, and it was cool that they have almost had 100% attendance during every single practice. Metellus missed a game, but he's playing the kind of politics side of the NFL where it's if you want me at OTAs, you pay me. So I don't really blame him for that, but it really does seem like everybody on this team is bought in. Just the way these guys are talking, they clearly all love each other, and I think that starts at the top. Starts with Kevin O'Connell, the culture he's built, and it's just cool stuff. So if you guys made it to the end of today's show, hit me with a skull down below in the comments section. We appreciate everybody for watching today's edition of Vikings Now. See y'all next time. As always, Skull Vikes.